we required signatures, we required checks, we required everything. And that was when we first started administering the program. And then what happened was everybody began to say, well, if we're signing to this on an acreage report, how is this any different than a small grains producer? Small grains producers only provide us cash leases on DCP payments when they don't want to get the owner's zero share signature. So we have let up a lot on the documentation. As far as with our indemnity program, the dead animals, that one is a lot of documentation. Because you need to prove to me that you lost those animals. Pictures, that's all I have to say. Take pictures, or have somebody come out, your neighbor, just can't be a relative, and witness that the cow is deceased and that you're gonna bury it. That's fine, but a lot of times what happens is, you don't take the picture, you don't call the neighbor, you just figure, I'm just gonna go get rid of the carcasses, and then 6-7 months later, there's a program and you're gonna wanna collect, and then I'm gonna say, well, do you have proof that you lost your animal? So that is very important.
Yeah, I just wanted to stress that, because don't be overwhelmed by, there's so many of this FSA paperwork that you probably will think is, why don't I ever need that? There was a prime example, 3 years down the road, you gotta prove that you have this much land on these cattle for so long.
How retroactive are they with that, as far as how long will they go back? You know what I mean?
We can go back 4 years.
Okay.
There's no, when it comes to the government and with Farm Bill and with politicians, this doesn't go any further. They will retro it to, they're here to help the producers. And so there's people right now in DC fighting for producers to get a payment for 2012. Even though that there's no money, and you hear all the war stories, how there's no budget, there are people fighting for producers on Capitol Hill for this LFP program and the LIP program and the SURE program to be retroactive to 2012. In fact, had you come in during 2012 and brought me any documentation for any cattle you lost, I would have accepted it. Not that I can do anything with it, but I would have accepted it. Just because we're that confident that it could happen.
Do the things like heat losses.
Yeah, well, right, and then, very hot. So, you have the heat losses, but the drought, a lot of feed was lost, on pastures because you didn't have, enough moisture, and then of course the crops that suffered, that was in the news. So, again, when it comes to federal government, there's just, until they actually say that they're going to do it, you don't know. It is, nothing's a guarantee, but usually it does go back. And that's one thing I've learned in our agency. And you guys as producers will learn, once you guys start farming and get several years, under your belt, you'll start realizing, oh, they've gone back and changed their mind several times. Happens a lot. Back in 2008, when we first started with our disaster programs, we required everybody to pay us $250, I'm sorry, at the time it was $100 per crop to get into this, be eligible for livestock forage program and live. And we required it, whether you had 1 acre or whether you had 10,000 acres of grass, you still had to pay us $100. Well, finally they got smart on Capitol Hill to realize, wait a second, by the time you pay $100 on your 1 acre, you're not getting any payment for it. I mean, the $100, you're never going to get your $100 back, is what they realized. We were also requiring our small grain producers who have no cattle to pay us $100 on this grass, those 10-acre spots that they do nothing with. We were making them pay us $100 on those as well. Well, that didn't last very long. We got about 6 months down the road, and Capitol Hill says, oh, wait, they get no benefit from LFP because they don't have cows. Don't charge them. So we are a forever changing agency in the information that we provide. And that's why when I first started the program this morning, I want to let you know that what I'm telling you is 2008 Farm Bill information. And so you know, when you leave here today, just take it as a knowledge base of the things that we have done in the past. And visit with us for the future, because this information is outdated and there is going to be drastic changes in our farm bill when they get that figured out. So this is just knowledgeable information.
Any other questions for Jessica? Thank you very much for
Thank you.
your time on a Saturday. Let's give her a
Yeah,
little
no
hand,
problem.
please. Let's take a